In the standings right now, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 team race for number 1.
That's crazy.
We have the Vancouver Canucks and New York Rangers at 98 points apiece, and then Florida, Colorado, Carolina, Dallas, and Boston.
What is
97.
the wins discrepancy between the team with the most wins and the team with the least?
Team with the most wins is the New York Rangers with 47. Team with the least wins, Boston Bruins, because they have 15 overtime losses.
They have 41 wins.
That's right. The next closest to the Boston Bruins in terms of overtime losses are the Dallas Stars with 9 overtime losses, and Vancouver has 8.
So they're separated by 1 point in the standings and 6 wins.
Yes.
It's quite the gap.
I think I think this is the issue with the loser point for me is that I'm going back to what Jesse said. Why don't we just do wins and losses? Because ultimately you don't advance because you lost in overtime in the playoffs. So why are we doing this?
It wins and losses or 3-2-1. And I feel like they would rather do wins and losses than 3-2-1.
Yeah, 3-2-1's too complicated.
I've seen the adjusted standings too. 3-2-1 doesn't change much.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's surprising.
It leaves them pretty similar to what you're at.
It still rewards losing.
Yeah.
Why are we rewarding losing? Like, you know what's crazy? If you went to overtime, you've already guaranteed yourself a point, and there's no way that the game hasn't been decided. I think that's weird. Like, even before the shootout, when you go to overtime, you were not guaranteed. You were guaranteed a point, weren't you?
Yeah.
Before the shootout.
Yes.
You were always guaranteed a point.
Yeah, because it was a tie.
I think that's strange. I think that's a really strange way to do things. It's like why this league for so long de-emphasized goal scoring, right? It's like, let's score less goals. Let's shut it all down. Who needs that? I want 6 shots in a period. And what they found is, wow, the more scoring goes up, the more people are like, wow, this is exciting and entertaining hockey. I don't get this. I respect the Boston Bruins, and I'm not dissing the Boston Bruins here.
We've seen enough of them that we know they're good.
But who do you think takes it? Vancouver, New York, Florida, Colorado, Carolina, Dallas, and Boston. Vancouver, New York, Florida have all played 71 games. Carolina, Dallas, and Boston have played 72. Who do you like?
Oh, man. Well, I like them all.
Points percentage is not that crazy between the spread between them is Vancouver at 690 and Boston at 674.
I gotta say the Rangers or Panthers.
Yeah?
Yeah. Although Colorado has this thing about them where they won't be denied. I had my fantasy season ended because I needed Georgiev and the Avs to lose. They were down 4-0, and they came back and won 5-4 in overtime because you can't rely on the Penguins for anything.
Did you see Sid's goal though, guys? That tip at the side of the net.
How do you blow a 4-0 lead to Colorado and not want to leave at some point? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know
Didn't the Leafs blow a pretty good lead against Colorado? 3-0.
they blew a 4-1 lead. No, but the difference is they were en route to the playoffs and shit, we blew one game. This is very much a trend for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are going nowhere at breakneck speeds.
They are 30-30-10. I just thought that was a cool record because it's very round.
That is also 10 more losses than wins. Your fans, if they watched every game, would be mad at the end of 10 more games than they were happy.
Yeah, you're 30-40.
That's real ass. That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
They're barely like, here, wait. Let me throw on my glasses, make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. They're clinging to a tier of teams, right? So there's the playoff teams. Mm-hmm. There's the teams that are in the playoff hunt. And then there's the teams who stink. And the Penguins are sort of in a no man's land between the teams that are in the hunt and the teams who stink. The Blue Jackets, Habs, and Sens all stink. The Sabres are not really in that conversation anymore of contending for the playoffs. Neither are the Devils.
Isn't that funny? Last week we were talking about the Sabres charging hard.
And now you got the Islanders who are on life support, the Red Wings, Caps, and Lightning. And I guess you could throw the Flyers in there as well.
Yeah, the
Penguins
Flyers
are a lot closer to stinking than contending.
The Flyers are in a dangerous spot right now because it looks like if Washington can keep this up, they'll pass the Flyers for that third spot in the Metro, and the Flyers are going to drop down the second wild card. And once they're there, like who knows if Detroit can win a couple more games here and take that spot.
Oh, and Detroit's not. They lost again this weekend. They lost again.
After you. Crazy. It's a Canadian standoff.
So who do you give it to? Who do you give it to, guys? Who are you giving it to?
The President's Trophy?
Yeah.
Rangers.
Jesse,
Rangers.
what do you
The
think?
Vancouver Canucks were my number one pick, but the Colorado Avalanche amongst all of those teams are the hottest. I believe it's 9 in a row they've won.
Good
my
Lord.
God.
They're probably my second pick. If the Canucks don't hold on, it's probably going to be the Avalanche who take it.
9 in a row in Toronto. If you had a nine game win streak, it'd be like they'd build a statue. We still talk about the 10-game win streak the Gilmore team had.
I'd be
like
incapable
that's
of-
regular in Colorado. It's like, oh, this happens all the time.
I'd be incapable of having a bad day.
Simply,
I couldn't.
Simply could not. Yeah.
How much you sleep last night, Steve? 30 minutes. Thanks for asking. I'm going on a coffee run. You want a coffee?
Do you guys think any wins or losses that the Penguins incur the remainder of the season matter at this point?
Yeah, because if they keep losing, their draft pick goes higher because they're going to keep it this year and not relinquish it because it's top 10 protected. So what they want to do is keep losing as much as possible so they can get the higher pick because next year that pick's going to go to San Jose.
So you got to say, be unwatchable, boys.
Yeah, right now they should be in tank mode.
And you can't tell Crosby that because he had points on all 4 goals.
You can't tell Letang that. You can't tell Carlson that. You can't tell Malkin that. You can't tell any of those guys that. But that's how they should be.